Hello everyone, it's Brandon here from the Pilot Stud channel. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. Today I'll be talking about the ATR, which was recently released for Microsoft Flight Simulator, and then also updating you on a little bit of flight sim news after that. So let's get right into it. Now first off, with the ATR release, this European short-haul turboprop airliner was highly anticipated for Microsoft Flight Simulator, the first of Asobo's expert level aircraft released on both PC and Xbox. Now it comes in at a price of $20 and you can also get a 30% off discount for those of you with the deluxe or premium deluxe versions of the simulator, and you do indeed get two variants of the ATR 42-600 and the 72-600. I've been flying around with it all day, so what do I think of it? Well, in my opinion, for the price, it is one of the best aircraft I have seen for the sim. Now, it doesn't tick all of the boxes, and admittedly, in some ways, falls short of what I would call expert level, but for $20 I am very happy with it. I do understand some people are not happy with it, and this is of course my personal opinion, so do feel free to chuck your thoughts down below as long as they're in a civil manner. Don't get me wrong, it's not perfect, but it's certainly not terrible. I got it for the premium deluxe price, which ended up costing me around £10 UK, and personally I think that's very good. Now the highlights include the external model. It's very well done. The cockpit looks decent, although a major complaint is that it is a bit blue, and while I've never sat in an ATR cockpit, I can sort of see where people are coming from, and systems go slightly above default Microsoft Flight Simulator level, so you could probably get away with using this on VATSIM quite nicely, as long as you don't experience too many bugs with it. Now, swiftly moving on to the letdowns, as I just said there, it is very buggy. The FMS, Flight Management System, seems to experience the most bugs, so you have to go quite slow with it and make sure you don't overload it. On top of that as well, autopilot sort of harks back to the early days of Microsoft Flight Simulator. VNav is rather temperamental and, to put it bluntly, unstable on descent, but then again I am not an ATR pilot and may very well be doing something wrong, but I would say I've seen reviews all over the internet and there seems to be a general consensus that autopilot needs a lot of work. All in all, it is something different and frankly something fun. There are some issues, and don't get me wrong, there are plenty of them, but I'm sure over time it will improve. It needs to, otherwise expert level in name only, I'm afraid. In many ways it feels a bit like the Aerosoft CIJ. For example, it's got no auto throttle, as most turboprops don't actually have auto throttle. But for a fraction of the price of the CIJ, I personally am not complaining, and the fact it's been released on both PC and Xbox is nice to see as well. It coincided with World Update 13, which I personally haven't tried out just yet. I'm glad to see the ATR. It's probably not everything I expected, and I'm sure some people would agree with me, but I still really like it, and I cannot wait to get to learn the systems. It's still very early days. Expert level in name only, I'd probably say at the moment, but I hope Asobo and the Hans Hartmann team improve it. I'm sure they will. It's good fun, and at the end of the day, that's what we're all flight simming for. It's not going to be for everyone, but I quite like it. Moving on, in other news, I showcased some exclusive previews of the future of the Headwind simulations Airbus A330-900 Neo. Now there is a full video on this update that I was kindly provided completely exclusively by the Headwind team, so I would recommend you watch that video if you want a more in-depth look. If you haven't heard of the Headwind A330 Neo, it's a bit of freeware available on PC at the moment, and is one of the most popular freeware airliners out there. Based on the fly-by-wire A320 systems, it is a blast to fly, but it's about to get even better as the Headwind team are trying to make this closer to reality. They're building the cockpit from the ground up, they're building the external internal model from the ground up, and also implementing their own systems, based once again on the fly-by-wire systems, which is only a good thing in my opinion. As I've said, it is freeware, but sadly it will never be coming to Xbox, at least that is the plan for the moment. They've said it will not be coming to Xbox, but who knows, sometimes these things do change. They're also working on the A330-800 Neo, which is a slightly shorter variant. And on top of that, the Headwind team are also working on the Sukhoi Superjet and Airbus A321, so please do check out that full video if you'd like to learn more about that. And finally, a new helicopter has been released. I actually had to watch a French nursery rhyme to figure out how to say this. I wasn't too sure if you did pronounce the T's, because I know in French sometimes you don't. But here we've got the Alouette III, which is available now from the premium store on flightsim.to. Now, I have to admit, I am not the biggest helicopter fan on the planet, but in my opinion, this looks incredible. It does come in at a price of £25 UK, which looks like it would be worth it. I haven't tried it out yet, but I may very well pick it up. It's been worked on a team called Tag's Hangar, and it looks pretty cool. This is a vintage helicopter, first flying in the 1950s. I would say the cockpit looks a bit grainy in places, but all in all this looks like a very quirky helicopter. So if you have tried it out, do leave your thoughts down below. On that note guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, be sure to like, comment and subscribe. Your support is always very much appreciated. I'll see you in the skies, happy flying, and bye bye.